Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Bareham Engines. So guys, thanks ever so much for all your comments on the last video. I'm sorry, as I said, it was nothing to do really with the machining processes or anything like that. The good news is that the little rodent that was caught vandalising our van and trying to break into our workshop has apparently been caught. So I think by the sounds of it, he'd gone round the whole estate, kicking cars, trying doors, etc. And he did actually manage to break into a building on the estate, on the corner of the estate here. I think it's part of the school, I'm not sure. I think he's managed to stumble down the road. He didn't stay in that building for long apparently, but he did end up down the road there onto another industrial estate where he got arrested. I think one of the neighbours heard him kicking doors, etc. So I have managed to get a direct email address, which, although I have told him about it, I'm just waiting for a crime number and also the police to turn up or whatever they're going to do, get in touch with me. But apparently if it goes on to this, it's obviously connected with him. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be something done about it, but I don't know. I have my doubts. Going by the look of him and going behind the absolute tat of a watch that he left behind, I shouldn't think he's got two halfpennies to rub together, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've been in touch with the insurance. The insurance has said go away and get your own estimate if you want. So I've got a local company getting back to me on an estimate with regards to the damage on the van. So hopefully, guys, it all gets sorted and doesn't cost us too much. And hopefully the premium didn't go up that much, but yeah, not a lot you can do about it, unfortunately. I noticed a few people on the comments said about the cameras. The cameras have been rectified. Apparently the sensitivity wasn't high enough because I used to have it connected to my phone where it was alerting me all the time if a bird flew past or something. So I think I turned the sensitivity down too much. So that's why it was cutting out, because if it wasn't too much movement from a human, it would sort of go off until there was. So we've rectified that. We've corrected the alerts to my phone. So now, as soon as anything happens or someone's on the scene, a car or a person or something like that, I get notified on my phone. I'm literally 5 minutes away. So that's that, guys. But my feeling is there's not really a lot I could have done, and you know, 5 o'clock in the morning, it'll be lucky to wake me up anyway, but there we go. So yeah, we'll get back in the workshop, guys. Got a few things going on today. Before we go there though, please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, guys, and you'll be notified whenever we do a video. So guys, one of the first jobs of today, being Tuesday, obviously we were off yesterday, is this steel flywheel. Now, I'm not sure what this is off, whether it's off a Jaguar, but it is steel. It runs fairly thin from the front to the back. It's a fairly light flywheel, but being steel, you've got to make sure you've got a brand new tip in there. So we've got a nice fresh tip, and we find that if we slow the speed down of the chuck and sort of put a bit more of a rapid feed on, you tend to get a little bit better of a finish. But you can see there where it's started to clean now. On the inside, you see those hot spots going round and round. Obviously, being steel, the hot spots do get fairly leery, so we've got to make sure we get under those. So a nice big deep cut, about 1/2 mil, and we'll see what finish we get after this. So there we go, guys. That's about as good a finish as you're going to get on one of these steel ones, because as I say, if you look down the back, it's very, very thin in that sort of area here. So it's the thinner it gets, the more it starts chattering, or the hot spots go through right through to the back, and you never get them out. So that is pretty good. We've got all the hot spots out. Now, what I had to do with that beforehand, a minute ago, I was running 111 RPM on the chuck. Obviously, we've kept the feed the same. We've got the new tip in here. So these are the triangular tips. What you do is you undo that and then sort of take the tip out and turn it around, do it up, and that pulls that into the tool holder. So we've got a nice fresh tip in there. And I've gone from 111 to 170 on the RPMs on here. And how I do that, you've got these two handles here. We've got a little chart. So a minute ago we were running 111, which was 2M. So that's this one on the 2 there, just making sure it locates, and this one on the M. So that would be running 111 RPM. We were running 170 to get that finished. So what we had to do is go down to the 3, keep that one on the M, and that's how you change the speeds on the chuck there, guys. So yeah, that's about as good as you're going to get. We can get that boxed up and sent back to the customer now. Right, everyone, so it's the end of Tuesday now. Been really busy today, actually. Usually I don't get a chance to come out in the workshop as often as I would like, but I have managed to get a good few things done today. One being this big old Ford here. So this is from Lansing Marine, so it's obviously in a boat, but it's a big Ford 6-cylinder. Not sure the capacity. I think it's 6.5 litre, this one, but we've had to rebore that. So they've sent that in along with the crankshaft, which they've sent in to be checked. We've measured that, polished it, and that is absolutely fine. That's great to have a new customer there. Tomorrow, I've spoke to Paul today actually, but we're going to be getting this one out. So this is a Focus Mark III RS. So it's the 4-cylinder and not the Mark II 5-cylinder that we have a lot of trouble with. Very rarely do we hear anything bad of these, but to be honest, I suppose they're still fairly new. What we're going to do is get this one on this available engine stand here tomorrow. I promised him we're going to take it to bits, get some measuring done and see what the issue is there. I haven't told you about the new valve seat cutter. Here it is, guys, the new Myra. So this is the new addition to the one that we had. This is the VGX21. As I said to you guys, we were pretty surprised on how much this was compared to how much the other one was back 20 odd years ago, 25 years ago, probably more than that. In comparison, that one there now would probably be about 10,000–12,000 quid, but this was about 4,500 quid plus the VAT, and we thought that is very reasonable. There's all the palaver with the old one on that place that said they could fix it and couldn't. They're meant to be getting back to me on what they're going to do on this one. I don't hold my hopes very high, and to be honest with you, they've given us our money back. So yeah, if we get anything, then it will just be a bonus, but if not, for messing us about, you know, if not, then so be it. But anyway, yeah, we've got this one delivered, so it means that we can crack on now with cutting these seats in the head. You can see on here we've got a Pinto, and we're just in the process of doing that. We have done 2 or 3 cylinder heads since we've had this, and it works absolutely brilliant. The only thing is, and it's my own fault really, I didn't really read the spec of it before I bought it. I just thought that looks about what we want, and that's the new addition to it, so send it on its way. I think the reason, well, I know the reason why it's so cheap. I've obviously looked at it. I thought, well, obviously this is like the old one, where the old one had a button in the center here. So you press the button and it would sort of CNC center itself in the center of the guide. It would beep when it found the center, then you lock it on, and away you go. I thought, well, that's obviously what this is here. You've obviously got a locking mechanism for the magnet. So it's an electromagnet. And then the other one will be a centering. Well, when we've sort of got it, we've plugged it in. It just plugs directly into the mains there to give it power, obviously, for the magnet. But then we thought, well, where does it wire into the box? So we had a box here, which was the sort of unit that showed you, the control unit basically for the CNC. There was no wire there. So I plugged it in, and I sort of got reading on the manual and discovered it's not actually CNC at all. What it is just it's obviously got a different ball sort of centering mechanism in here. So what they recommend you do, obviously you see it's very, very free floating like that, which the other one wasn't, because obviously on the other one, it's all connected to the CNC mechanism. But on this, it's just free floating. So what they reckon you do is you get a good fitting pilot that goes into the guide. So like this one's very, very snug. What you do, when you put the thing down, you've obviously got, you loosen these to get the sort of rough correct height, making sure that this is wound right to the top. You nip that on, you just press on 1 to set the magnet up, and that gets your magnet on there, and then you press apparently 2 and then back to 0 to release the magnet. They recommend getting this thing sort of roughly in the center okay, and you can sort of see that by the rubber there. Then what you do is you lock the magnet on, and then this you just do up like that. You don't need much pressure, and that locks that in position there, and then you cut away. And be honest with you guys, every seat that we've done so far cuts way better than the old one did. We were having trouble with chatter, we were having trouble with finishing, we were even having trouble with it cutting the inserts. We've cut various different types of materials so far, and it's absolutely bang on. So they have obviously discovered through, you know, for whatever reason, that you don't need the CNC. This seems to work absolutely perfect. So yeah, I know a lot of people out there have said that use the Surdees. They highly rate the Surdees. We've never had a trouble with Myra. It was just really ours was probably getting a bit tired and needed servicing. We have got a gentleman that's pretty local who's a wizard with electronics, and he's going to be having a look at that, see whether he can do anything with the CNC one. But at least we've got one that works perfect, even if it's just for the time being before we get that one done. But I am more than happy with that, and a lot cheaper than the other one, to be fair. Right everyone, back to the pre-crossflow. Now, as you can see, I've set the timing up. You've all seen me do that before. Fairly easy job on these pre-crossflows, etc., because you've got it's a push rod engine, so the camshaft is in the block. So what we're doing here, we've got the rocker posts. So what we're doing is we're exchanging. We've obviously got new lifters or new followers. We haven't dealt with the push rods yet. We've got new followers. We've got these new posts here, and we're exchanging these springs in the middle of the rockers. The springs sort of allow them all to move. We've changed it to solid spacers here. So these spacers all come a little bit long, so you have to basically machine them to the correct length. Now, I've done these two, and the way you do it is you get the end one right. So as you can see, we've got no split pin in the end of here, and no rocker on there. And what you do is you make sure that you get this one in line. So that one's correct on the top of the valve. You've got the right spacer in the end here, so that one can't shift about. There is a notch, as you know, down here. You can see just down there, it's off center on this because that's too long. But you've got a notch in the shaft. So when you put a bolt down and bolt this post to the cylinder head, the shaft can't move back and forth. So it just keeps all the oil holes in line. So what you do with this one, say this one was long, with this bolt out, you will see that this would all be a little bit too far over. So then what you do is you put this in the lathe and you take a little bit off until you've got the spacing right. So if I take this bolt out, we've ended up taking probably about 1 millimeter off that one. And you can see now down there that the notch is dead in line and the hole is dead in line with the post. So that is absolutely ideal. And when that is bolted down, there's very, very minimal movement on side to side on these, and they move nice and free. So then we go over to the next one, we do the next one, so that post lines up, and then this is the only one left. So you can see now, because this is long, when we push that over to that post, you can see out of line that rocker is. So we're probably going to have to end up taking a couple of mil off the end of that one there, and you can also see down there how much the notch in the post, or sorry, in the shaft is out. So we'll take this off now. So what we do is, if we slacken these bolts, we can slide that one off, we can slide this rocker off, and then we can slide this off, and we go and put it in the lathe. First of all, we'll take like 1.5 mil off there and just try it, and it's just a case of trial and error to get it absolutely perfect, basically, because if you take too much off, there's going to end up too much side to side movement on these. So that's where we are with this one, guys. Then we have got the push rods here. As you can see, you've got some new push rods. We'll pop all those in, make sure that we're running the correct angle on here. We'll do the clearances, tighten all this up, get the front cover on, water pump on. This thing is going to be dried sump, so we're just going to give it in back like this, but then it's pretty much done, this engine, guys, and we can get this one out for Malcolm. Well, once again, guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. Until Friday's video, have a great evening, enjoy the weather, and we will see you then. Cheers, guys.